And here we go. Welcome in to another edition of Bucky and BK. Today is Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. And the Buck and I are with y'all for the next 2 hours. On today's show, bold predictions for the 2026 Texas Longhorns. Plus, Tom Herman has himself a new gig. Yeah, remember him. Talk about that. We'll get into the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. We'll have our weekly conversation with Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Hoping to chop it up with ESPN's Paul Biancardi to talk about Texas basketball's newest commitment. And we got plenty more in the world of sports and beyond to get to, including some crazy stories in the BBK news. We appreciate y'all spending some of your Tuesday with us. How are you today, my man?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Fantastic. It's a little cooler today. How about the little bit of cool weather we have here today? Very nice, huh?
Take it.
Who the hell wants this weather? Where's the heat at? Bring the heat. It's starting to get cold. I'm going to have a jacket on this evening. Kidding me? We don't want – this is not what we want out of our July.
Oh, this is the best. When's the last time we've had 70s in July? I know it's overcast and dreary and raining on and off, but this is nice to me.
Nah. Bring on the heat, baby. Bring on the heat. It's still coming. It's not over with.
I was going to say, it'll be back in like 2 or 3 days. You know how it works here.
Yes, but the drizzle and the rain is okay. I've done everything that I'm not supposed to do, of course, trying to plant little bushes and things like that at this time of the year, which, of course, I am the dreaded killer of all plants. So trying to make some things work. And this rain is really helpful for me. Now I'm not dragging a hose down there and people seeing me going, is that guy out of his mind? Is he actually putting stuff in the ground in July? Well, of course I am. That's what I do. I'm a murderer.
Congratulations, murderer.
Yeah, I'm a plant murderer. That's what I do. I try to make it survive. And hopefully, since I know when it's going to rain, but I don't know how long it's going to rain, I try to attempt to do that. So I've done that. I know, I'll just say this, people that love the plant, the Pride of Barbados, this in full bloom, that orange plant that you see on the side, it's just looking gorgeous. I try to put a couple down in an area where Mike McCall has done some work. His group has done some work for me. And only to look at that section and say, what happens if something happens to this part of the road? And that's the section, if I want to get down below, that I would have to drive through. I'm like, are you serious? You'd have to drive over the plants and kill that and start all over again? And that's only in an emergency. But with me, there comes a time for an emergency, exit or whatever it is. I'll have to drive right over that stuff. But hey, murderer is what it is. That's what I do.
You have quite the resume that you've built in this life, right? College football player, guy who had an NFL tryout, very successful college football coach, long-time sports radio host and personality, and plant murderer. That's a lot. Not a lot of people have that combination of jobs. Well done there, sir.
You still got grandfather on the list too.
Grandfather on the list. Yeah, put that there.
Murderer. I just try it all, folks. That's nuts on my part, but I've been doing that now. I started that in Massachusetts when I first started coaching. When I got into coaching, I lived at my in-laws' place down at Duxbury Beach, down at Duxbury, Massachusetts, and they had somebody had tried a garden, and then I started putting stuff in, and it started to work in that kind of soil. The weather was fine. And then from that point on, it's been that way for me. It's 40 some years of doing this. And I love it. I love gardening. I love being outside. That's my way of getting outside, BK. It really is. And stretching. It keeps me moving. I'm wheelbarrowing stuff, picking up a bunch of junk. So I like it. And I like to smell. I like to smell the flowers. Now I'm stuck beside the goaters next to me, and it's horrifying. So I'll do everything I can to combat the smell of goat poop. It's horrifying. It just is to me. So that's just the way that goes. Good day to the soldiers at Fort Hood, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, all those that fight for us each and every day. thank you. We do appreciate what you do for all of us, and we appreciate your family sharing you with all of us. But to you and your families and all you EMS workers, police officers, doctors, nurses, please be careful out there, please.
Anything to avoid the smell of goat poop. I like that. It's
Dude,
a
it's
good
not
one.
it's not a pleasant smell. And when it gets wet and it drains from the one fence down into my lower area there,
Mm.
it's not a pleasant thing. It really isn't.
Not a pleasant thing. Well, what is a pleasant thing is we are 53 days away from the
Yes.
return of Texas Longhorn football. And I've been scavenging the interwebs lately, and I have found a compilation of bold predictions for the upcoming Texas football season. These are not me. These are other folks online who have, again, given some bold takes for what they expect to see from Steve Sarkisian's team in 2026. So I want to get your thoughts, and I'll give my thoughts on whether or not you think these are going to happen, or if you think these are too bold. Maybe a buy or sell. Let's phrase it like that. Are you buying these predictions? Are you selling these predictions? And we'll start with this one here with the Texas offense. Buy or sell, the Longhorns will have 2 800-yard rushers this season.
I am going to sell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. They'll have 2 I think they'll have over 1,000-yard rusher, but I don't think they're going to have 2 800-yarders. Somebody's going to get hot, and somebody's going to be the guy. As good as both of them are right now, Brown and Smothers, one of those two is going to take the lead role and may have, 1,100, 1,200-yard rushing, but the other guy is just going to be he's going to be almost a specialist in that case. I just don't think I'm not going to say 2 800-yarders, no.
Well, history's on your side. Now, I didn't go all the way back through Steve Sarkisian's coaching history. I just looked at his first 5 years here in Austin, and there has not been a season where he's had multiple running backs go for over 800 yards. It's usually one. He's got that, or he had that 1,000-yard streak that was going on forever that came to an end last year with the Longhorns' horrible running game in 2025. The closest Sark has gotten to 2 running backs over 800 yards was actually 2 years ago in 2024 when Trey Wisner went for over 1,000 and Jaden Blue was in the 700s. So he was pretty close. But, yeah, in the first half decade of Sark in Austin, he has not had 2 guys go for over 800. I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to buy on this one. I understand your logic, and, again, recent history is on this side. But I think Texas is really going to split the load with both Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers. And look, if one of those guys gets hurt, maybe Derek Cooper is good enough, and maybe he's trusted enough as a true freshman to get enough carries to get to the 800-yard mark. But I feel a lot more confident in saying it's going to be the 2 transfers who are first-team all-conference guys at their stops. And, I think one guy goes over 1,000, and I think the other guy is close to 1,000, kind of in that 800 to 1K range. So I do think, those guys are going to share the load, and I expect this running game to be significantly better this year. So I'm going to buy that for the first time in Sark's Texas tenure, they get 2 tailbacks going for over 800.
Yeah, once Sark starts talking about a specific guy, they really start to lean on him. But a lot of times that specific guy is not quite the guy we think that guy is. We've seen that before when they talk about how they're incredible at practice, they do this, and then you get to the games and you're like, really? What is it that you saw that we haven't seen? So I just think I think Brown will be the guy who will be I think that dude will be the guy who's over 1,000 yards. But I think the next guy is going to be in the 500, 600-yard range, and that's fine.
Sure. And
because he may be a specialist in first downs or short yardage or whatever it is, and that's fine with me. But I don't think they're going to. I just don't think the number 2 guy, if the number 1 guy is good, that the number 2 guy gets close to that number 1 guy in carries.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit of an unknown here too with new running backs coach Jabbar Jalouk, right?
Yeah. You don't even know how he's going to play it, and what kind of control does he have? Is the head coach going to control the running game, or does the running back coach get to control the players that go into the running game?
Exactly.
I was very fortunate to have it, like they said, it's sort of like, what is it, Burger King, have it your way. I
Yep.
I never imagined that's the way it was going to be, but I had it like that from Jack McNell to, John Magovic at Illinois and the University of Texas. I kind of had it my way. Once I settled on a guy, I never had anybody looking over my shoulder saying, you know what, this guy is good at the goal line. I want you to put him in. I never had John Magovic for 9 years, never did that to me. And I was lucky because I had Ricky Williams, and he could have very easily said, oh, no. At the 3-yard line, it's not going to be Priest. It's going to be Ricky. I mean, he could have dictated to me what I needed to do, and he never did.
Yeah. I wonder how it is with Texas, because Steve Sarkisian obviously calls the offensive plays, so he knows what he's looking for from that side of the football, and I'm sure he's got plays designed specifically for certain players.
I mean, he's got a veteran running back coach too. It's not like like for me when I left Boston College to go to Illinois to go to the Big Ten, John Magovic had already coached in the pros, had already been a head coach, had already done this, had already done that. He could have looked at me and said, dude, you're just coming from Boston. Hey, you're just coming from Rutgers/Boston College. Seriously? You're gonna dictate to me who's gonna be in at certain plays? And he just kind of let me go.
Yeah.
So I was very fortunate. And I think Sark, with a veteran coach like this, the guy who's around those players all the time, will understand. It's not that he won't have his input, but I don't think he's going to push the position coach to that point. There's other position coaches that he's still, even like with Chris Jackson, he's involved in the pass game. Chris Jackson, Sark is making those decisions on wide receivers. Chris Jackson is the guy having input,
That's interesting. Well, let's go from running back to wide receiver as we continue some bold predictions for Texas football. Buy or sell. How about with wide receivers? Buy or sell, Buck? Texas will have 2 800-plus yard receivers this season.
I'm buying.
Okay.
I'm buying that. I just, the inconsistent dude that we've got, we know that if he catches a quick screen, he can make a lot of yardage on just catching short passes and turning around and taking off and going. Yep. So his yardage after the catches is huge. And in tight quarters, it's hard to bring him down. Cam Coleman, we'll just have to see if that guy actually just goes by people. You know what I'm saying? For long catches. I'm not talking about contested jumping up with guys. I'm just talking about, that guy just got beat badly. That's the thing with Cam Coleman. We'll have to see how he and Arch come together in that. So, I've seen Cam Coleman do that when he was at Auburn with guys that actually threw the ball long and he just outran a guy. But a lot of his catches were in tight quarters and stuff, and he just made really good catches. So we'll see how that works out. But I'm buying that they'll have that.
And CB comments, 2008 was the last time Texas had 2,000-yard receivers in the same season with Jordan Shipley and Quan Cosby. But for 800 yards, that has happened one time in the Steve Sarkisian era. That was 2023 when Xavier Worthy led the Longhorns with over 1,000 yards. And you had Adonai Mitchell, who had 840-something yards. So it was kind of close, even with those two guys who – Worthy was a first-round pick. Mitchell was a second-round pick. We know how good both of those guys were. And even then, it was a little dicey in terms of two guys getting over 800. Right. But I feel like Texas has the best, 1-2 at wide receiver since that 2023 season with Cam Coleman and Ryan Wingo.
And I'm all in on Wingo. This is just his time. If it's not his time now, when will it be his time?
Yeah. And even last,
I'm all in on him.
Yeah, and even last year in that up and down 2025 for Ryan Wingo, he had 834 receiving yards.
And he left a lot on the field.
He left a lot on the field, right? A lot of meat on the bones.
More than he ever.
Hoping this year he eats and leaves no crumbs, as the kids say. I'm going to buy that as well. Yeah, I just think Cam Coleman's too good. I think Ryan Wingo's too good. I think you've got a couple of difference makers on the outside. It's not just those two. I mean, the Texas wide receiver room is deep and there's all sorts of talent, but it feels like we may talk about this more in detail later this week, but we know Sark loves to play favorites with that wide receiver room.
He does, yes.
And if there are guys that he likes and guys that he trusts, they're not going to come off the field. And I have a hunch. We know he loves Ryan Wingo. I mean, that guy had way more targets than anybody else last year. And considering what Texas invested into Cam Coleman and everything that Steve Sarkisian has said about the Auburn transfer since he got here, I think there's plenty of reasons to believe that that guy is going to be a massive part of the game plan as well. So I think both of those dudes are too good, and I think they're going to get too many opportunities to not go for over 800.
Yeah, the only reason they wouldn't is if Wingo isn't consistent with his hand and a kid like Bishop comes out of nowhere and just makes plays, just absolutely is electrifying every time he touches the ball. That'll knock down some of your even the ones that they love. If a guy like that, if a guy who's got electricity in him touches it and he catches it all the time and snatches the ball and goes, you can lose some of your snaps by having that guy do that. And I hope that's the case. I hope they find enough throws for all of them, after what we've been hearing about Bishop. But once again, I've heard a lot of those things before about guys that they thought were, this guy is unbelievable, but they never get the ball to him. It's not that they may not be good. It's just they don't get it to him enough that we actually see it.
Yeah, and I think, look, Ryan Wingo had drop problems last year, and he still put up really good numbers. So I don't think his snaps would be taken away. I wonder about maybe Emmett Mosley the fifth. No disrespect to him. I think we like his game a lot, but he's the number 3 wide receiver. And I would think
he's like the must-have guy. You're talking about consistency. He's the must-have guy. If your quarterback's not having a great day of accuracy, he's the guy who's going to he's going to catch the difficult ball that's low. He's going to go down there and get it. He's going to get the high ball. He's going to get the ball that's slightly behind him. He's the guy that it gets to be crunch time and you're going to throw a pass and it may not be a perfect pass because your quarterback's not having a great day. That's the guy that I want on the field. Well, that will go get one of the bad passes for me,
Then it may be tough to get Jermaine Bishop on the field. I mean, that's the thing. You've got so many great options ahead of him to where it's Khalil Lockett, Dalen McCutcheon, Jermaine Bishop, some of these guys, these young guys who I think are future stars in their first or second years. They're behind some current stars.
Yeah, I don't see those guys as much as you like Lockett and McCutcheon played a lot last year. There was nothing to tell me that he's going to unseat one of those guys or you're going to have enough throws for him. It's not quite your time. You'll get your catches in, your 20 catches in a season. But the following year is your year. I mean, it just happens that way. It could take you 3 years in an offense like this, that when you go out and buy some of the best players in the country, you just get seated behind them for another year till your time comes. But they don't get rid of you. You may get rid of yourself and say, I'm going elsewhere because I am going to be a number 1. And I expect this group. But if you're in the mix and you're catching 20-some balls and you're going into your sophomore year or junior year, BK, and you catch 25 balls, that's fine. I expect that they're really thinking of you for that following year. They're not trying to get rid of you.
Yeah, a lot of turnover in the Texas wide receiver room. DeAndre Moore transfers, Parker Dedston transfers.
Right.
You lose Jamie French as well, one of those young up-and-coming receivers who you had a lot of potential or you had a lot of faith in, and he had a lot of potential. Obviously, you bring in some talented new pieces as well. So,
but they will always, every year, they're going to go out and look for that receiver. They just have.
They've got the number 1 wide receiver in America currently committed in the class of 2027 with Easton Royal. Now, that recruitment's crazy. He's from Louisiana, and LSU is doing whatever they can to try to get him. But, yeah, I mean, Steve Sarkisian loves receivers. He's got a track record of developing talented receivers into high draft picks. So receivers are going to want to come play in this offense. And that's not going to change.
Yeah, you've got to be, if you're a 4A, kind of guy and you come, if you're a 4-star, 5-star, you better be a good 4 or 5-star because this place will find some. They'll find another one in a hurry in this offense, with the kind of quarterback play. And you have to play early. It can't be one of those, it's going to take you a couple of years to develop because they keep going out and finding another one. The machine just keeps going in that position, just like it's supposed to be in the running back room.
Amen. Well, you and I are both buying that Texas will have 2 800-yard receivers this season. Again, last year, Ryan Wingo eclipsed 800, but DeAndre Moore was second on the team with 532 yards receiving. So the Longhorns weren't really that close.
And if one is under, but he's a touchdown maker, that's fine with me. If he's the guy who gets those 10-yard touchdowns gets the ball into the end zone, makes big plays for first down catches, I'm going to be just fine with that too.
Yeah.
I need a touchdown guy. I need that guy to give me 8 to 12 touchdowns too in a year. Find that guy.
That's what A.D. Mitchell was when he was here in 2023. But he also got over 800 yards, so he gave you a little bit of everything. Speaking of touchdowns, the next buy or sell for Texas in 2026, Arch Manning accounts for at least 45 total touchdowns this season. Last year, for some context, he had 36 touchdowns in 13 games. He did leave one early with injury. The hope is Arch Manning's better. The hope is Texas also plays more games in 2026. So buy or sell, Arch, again, gets at least 45 total touchdowns this season.
Going to play in 14 or 15 games, 3 times that. 30,
I hope it's
40.
more than that. 15 or 16 is what we're looking for.
Yeah, but even if you get to 14, that's three a game he'll be involved in. Yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah, I'm buying that.
You're buying it?
Oh, yeah.
What was that math you just did?
I'm looking for 3 times 14 is what? What's that?
42.
Ooh, and we're looking for how many? 45?
Yeah, that's why I question your math, because I feel like you said something but thought.
Oh, you also threw a couple extra games. I didn't go any further than those. But you're right. You got to have more than, if you're going to get to a national championship or a semifinal, you got to get how many games? 16?
12 in the regular season. If you play in Atlanta in the SEC championship, that's 13. And then assuming you'd get a first round bye, that'd be 3 playoff games if you get to Vegas. If you don't get a first round bye, that's 4. So I guess the max you could play in is 17 this year.
Okay, yeah. So I'm at the least I'm going 2 more, but I'm thinking 3 more. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be close, but I think he's going to go over 45, yes.
So I think he's definitely going to have more passing touchdowns. He had 26 passing scores and 10 rushing scores to get to the 36 last year. I think he's going to throw for more touchdowns. The question is, now that Texas actually has running backs, is he going to have double-digit rushing scores again, or is Sark like, I'd rather give it to somebody else in the red zone, so maybe you take less hits down there?
Well, I think that his natural ability, a lot of times, it wasn't just natural ability last year. It was, I have to escape from my life ability. When he went back to drop in the pocket, it wasn't like pass first. It was like, I'm going to drop back. Some guy's going to have their back to me. I got to go. I don't have enough time to set and throw the ball. I just think he's so good at that, just having that feel of, I can run further than I can get this ball down the field, or I have a chance to get the ball down the field. I think he's still going to be his natural self. Yep. So I think I don't think you need to have all those design run plays. I know they had a few in, but most of his runs were off of, I got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's still going to, I'm hoping there won't be, but I think he understands that he's got the ability to run further at times that he can throw the ball to, or he has enough time to throw it. And if it's a crucial situation, I'd rather have it under his arms when he takes off and goes.
So you're buying this?
I'm buying this for sure.
I am too. You can tell that I'm confident in this offense, can't you?
Oh yeah. Oh, there's no doubt.
I've gone.
And then you know what? And it doesn't have to be. That doesn't have to mean that I'm really that confident in what they're going to do on the offensive line, because I'm still saying it can be worse. So if it's a little bit better and he takes off and does what he did last year, I think there's just going to be more opportunities. He's maturing enough to understand what defenses do. He knows even more so when it's time to take off. I just like his grandfather says, you got to take care of your body, but that dude just is an athlete. He's just going to do what he does. It should be for the opposing players too, that they got to watch out too, having to tackle that big son of a gun. And I always think about him getting hurt, but I'm looking at some of those DBs at 175, 180, 190, having to come up. Don't they have to have business decisions too at times with him? He's bigger than the backs.
Right. Arch Manning's a big guy, and you're right. He's not easy to bring down. He's obviously fast. He can make people miss, and he can run. He doesn't like to go down.
He doesn't like to go down, like hit him and he wants to go down. He's got that extra in him where he likes to spin, and you're hitting those big thighs and that big body. That's a decision that those guys have to make in the secondary too. He's not one of those quarterbacks where you can say, I'm going to level this quarterback. Yeah, okay, I'm going to level this 6'4", 230-pound. No, it's not that simple with him.
Yeah, well, some of these quarterbacks, you breathe on them and they fall down. It
Right.
looks like a bunch of soccer players out there.
Right, they hit the ground in a hurry. You're right.
Yeah, Arch is not that. He did get concussed last year, so you want him to be smart. You want him to go down. You don't want him to take a lot of hits. But we know he loves to take off and go. And again, he can run by people and make people miss. So you don't want to totally lose that, because it's nice having
he's been told in his life enough to get down. He understands when the battle is over with, okay, now it's time. He knows some of the defenders. I mean, he studies the game enough. He studies the defenses enough during the course of the week, BK, to know who the killer dog is on the other side of the ball, that if you don't protect yourself and you think you want to take that guy on, or if somebody's holding you up and you want to fight off number two, no, you just go ahead and get down. He understands that. He's smart enough to understand that.
Yeah, I think so too. And I agree. He's been told his entire life to do that.
Because he's been running for his entire life. He's been an athlete and taking off and doing better than the running backs on his team all his life. So he's thinking, well, I'm not just a quarterback. I'm an athlete, and I can go. Hell, I'm better than the guy I handed off to.
Right. All right. We'll continue this. We'll get to more bold predictions for Texas football here in 2026. We'll keep our game of buy or sell going. Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered will join us in a few minutes. We'll get his thoughts on the Longhorns and some of the other big storylines around the conference right now. But before we chop it up with CP, how about our first round of sponsor shout outs?
Sales, good morning to Jay and the gang over at Sue Patrick with the incredible selection of Longhorn apparel, okay, collectibles, accessories. They've got everything that you need. Tons of Texas themed items, gifts, books, cards, everything you want, a wide variety of men's and women's clothing. They got new polos in for men and women. They got the ones that look very, very dapper, BK. They're going with some more little horns all over. Wait till you see that look. They are there, and they look wonderful. I went by and saw Jay yesterday. They got tons of new caps out there. And, folks, they got plenty of parking at 5222 Burnett Road. On online orders of $59 or more, free curbside pickup. And the Jelly Cats, they're restoring more Jelly Cats. They're starting to come in, restocking those Jelly Cats just for my grandkids. Not for me, but for the grandkids, because I'm not the one that collects the Jelly Cats. My grandkids are the ones that collect the Jelly Cats. Folks, you're going to love everything you see when you go over to Sue Patrick. As a matter of fact, 50 years of service in Central Texas. For more information, please go to SuePatrick.com.
Yes, indeed. Both of us outfitted in our Sue Patrick Texas gear today. The best place to get your Longhorn gear. Shout out to Early Bird CBD. It's a golf day, yeah?
Yeah, man. Early Bird CBD is always on my list, all on my to-do list. When I have a round of golf, and what it does is, folks, it calms down the pain that you get from walking around, trudging around in a little bit of dampness today. It's absolutely working for me. And it works for me not only on the day of golf, it works for me 2 to 3 days after a round of golf for my knees. I got a bad back as it is, my shoulders and everything else. Really, I'm hooked on this stuff when it comes to pain relief. It also relaxes me. It's not about my putting. Mentally, I'm there putting. So it helps out. You might get Scotty on some of this. Do they drug test in the PGA Tour?
That's a good question. They have to, right, for PEDs?
I think they do now. I think, yeah.
I don't know if THC is a banned substance for the PGA.
Maybe over there across the pond, when they get over there, they're probably going to test for that.
Maybe that's why Phil Mickelson left. He was smoking too much dope, so he went to live where they don't drug test. Maybe that was
maybe that's his deal. I love Early Bird, man. I love the drops.
And Lefty wanted more cart girls to assault, I think, too. That's also why he went to live. Look, Early Bird's awesome. I'm a repeat customer, as is the Buck. How about this testimonial I found online from Ronaldo T? That I was pleasantly surprised with these gummies. The flavor was fantastic, and they really helped relax me. I deal with a lot of stress, and these have been wonderful. Early Bird has a repeat customer for sure.
Awesome.
If you deal with stress and you just want to relax, take the edge off a little bit at the end of a long day of work, of life, of anything, Early Bird CBD, they've got the drops that the Buck was talking about. They also have the gummies. Just pop one of these, and again, you'll be feeling very, very good. Can help with pain alleviation and helps me get a great night's sleep as well. earlybirdcbd.com, that's the website. Use the promo code Bucky. You're going to get 20% off your first order for from our great friends at Early Bird CBD.
R&R is right. Card path only. Yeah.
It is one of those days, isn't it?
Yes.
I hate to hear that. Well, hopefully your putting is good today, and you got that putting green from our guy Mike and his great team
Yes.
at McCall Custom Homes. Hey, if you want a putting green in your backyard, Mike McCall and his team will hook you up with that. If you just want to upgrade your space, kitchen remodels, bathroom renovations, maybe you've got a growing family you want to add on to your home. Maybe you don't have a growing family, but you want to add on to your home. McCall Custom Homes can tackle any of those jobs and then some. A+ rated by the BBB. Super experienced. It's a father-son team with more than 4 decades of experience doing this and doing this here in Central Texas. So they really know what it takes to turn an Austin area home into something truly special. They offer free estimates to Bucky and BK listeners. Again, they do the best work. They're fully licensed and insured. It's competitive pricing. I mean, everything you're looking for when you are looking for a GC, that's what you get with McCall Custom Homes. Go to their website, McCallCustomHomesATX.com, or reach out to Mike, 512-633-9580. It's McCall Custom Homes. We build value into your home.
Our good friends at Woods Comfort Systems right now, 70% off of 36 months financing on Bryant systems. If something's wrong with your system or you're just not satisfied with it, believe me, you can get that. You can get 70% off for 36 months on payments. That is awesome on a Bryant system from Woods Comfort Systems. Woods Comfort Systems has been in business for over 70 years now in Central Texas. They do air conditioning, they do heating, and now they do plumbing. Trust in them. Please do trust them when it comes to plumbing. If you got an issue, please don't try to be the plumber. Don't get up underneath the sink and start messing around with the sink. Let them do it at Woods Comfort Systems, because I know how good they are when it comes to air conditioning and making sure that my filters are clean and ready to go. They actually let me mess with the filters now. Since I've proven to Woods that I can do the filters, they tell me exactly what to do. They have arrows and everything else up here on my system. Put it this way. They let me do that. Other than that, don't touch anything else, Buck. Let us come out. We'll do this twice a year for you, and they do a fantastic job. So do trust in them when it comes to air conditioning, heating, and plumbing. Woods Comfort Systems, nobody does it better.
You know, you talk a lot about your wife and what she allows you to do and what she doesn't allow you to do.
Yes.
We know you can't use the oven or the stove or the washer or dryer, which there's some perks involved with that. But I am curious, does your wife let you touch the air conditioning? Like, can you change the temperature in the home?
Oh, no. No. Oh, no. Oh, no, no. I don't touch. No. I don't mess with that. Mine's is just, I think it may be whatever it is, I don't touch it. No, it's an accident if I hit it. That means I miss hitting the fan and I hit the air conditioning. Then I have to call to her right away. What was this on? And then she'll come running up. But no, I don't make any changes. I don't make changes like that.
So it's not because she doesn't allow you, it's because you're going to mess something up, or is it she's like, don't mess with the temp in here, please?
No, hers is don't mess with the temp in here. And yeah, you are going to screw something up.
You
know what I'm allowed to do?
So easy. You just push the down button to lower it.
No, dude, there's more. It's just, it weirds out because it'll change the system downstairs. So I'll have to go downstairs and do it both. Here's the deal that I'm allowed to do. You know, we have the outdoor cats that we feed on our porch twice a day, eating great chicken from Costco. Yeah. But when you open up the sliding glass door, sometimes a mosquito will get in because of the humidity and how it's been around here. She's put these little disco lights, these blue lights that mosquitoes run into. Now, they don't make any sounds, like they get zapped like the big outdoor ones, but I've had a few that buzz my ear. So she's put these 2 little blue things that are in the wall there. And sometimes if I'm not sleeping well, they'll keep me up. I like it dark in the room, but she allows me to turn those on. I can flick those on before I go to bed because I go to bed first. She says, here's what you can do. Just flick that on so that you don't get buzzed that night, or you don't elbow me in the face or slap your face and wake me up because some mosquito's buzzing you. I can do that. I'm allowed to do that.
Amazing. Congratulations. Wow. It's like when a little kid gets to do something for the first time. Mom finally lets him, I don't know, turn on the TV or turn on the oven or do something. And that's you at the age of 71, allowed to do something around the house.
Man. Small victories are very important.
You'll take it. You will take it. All right. Well, each and every Tuesday, we get to chop it up with one of our favorites. We go around the Southeastern Conference with our man Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered, who's rocking a new setup. I saw this on SECU a couple of days ago. He's got the Scott Van Pelt look, the zoomed out with the full desk showing. CP, I love it, man. How we doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, I figured it was time to switch something up a little bit. So hopefully we got no technical issues and you can see and hear me okay. But yeah, just wanted to give the studio a little refresh, man. New season around the corner, and kind of felt like the studio could use a little bit of life, man. So here we are. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great. It's getting close.
Yeah.
You've got the Phil Steele magazine open to the OU page. Are you kidding me, CP? OU.
Dude, I had. Oh, you're gonna take that personally now? How ironic. No, we actually had Phil on the show yesterday.
Nice.
And so we will be dropping that convo today. So yeah, I was kind of sifting through here, but yeah, here we'll take. There you go. Just flip to the Texas page. So it was meant to be.
There you go.
No, we had a great combo with Phil though. Spent a lot of time talking. Obviously, Texas, Georgia, the entire league. 7th consecutive year I've had Phil Steele on the show before the season got going. So really, really cool. And just one of those signs that kickoff is close when I get to sit down and chop it up with him. So that is the reason the magazine is sitting open on the desk.
Does he take a few bucks off of your magazine, that $45 mag that you got right there?
No, sir. I go straight to Barnes and Noble. I figure it is yeah, no, I'm still somebody, I like going to get it in person. I don't know. There's something like you could most everything else. Like I'm a big Amazon guy. Every time I go to the store, I'm like, why didn't I just order this on Amazon? Why am I wasting my time at wherever I'm at? The magazine thing, there's still something about stumbling upon it like at Publix. You know what I mean? Like when the Athlon magazine or Lindy's and you're like, there you go. It's all I'll actually make it a point to go to Barnes and Noble. I figure, hey, if Phil Steele is willing to come on my show, I'll be willing to buy his magazine. Obviously,
there you go.
Our other guy, Brett Cianci of Pick Six Previews. I'm giving people a lot of plugs here. You guys might be familiar with Brett's work.
Yeah.
Guy I've known for a while, had on the show for a while. SEC Unfiltered and Chewing Clock will actually be featured in that magazine, just from a standpoint of some branding stuff, some of the SEC team pages. We did this last year with just the SECU logo, but SEC Unfiltered and the Chewing Clock logos will be featured in Brett's magazine, and we'll have him on the show. So, yeah, I mean, 'tis the season. You know, love all the magazines. I would say Phil Steele's and Brett Cianti's are the two best, but it's just kind of whatever flavor you prefer.
For
sure. Now, let me ask you about Athlon. Generally, they're the first out of the blocks. Do you go ahead and go through all of their stuff? Do you like what they do? I've grown to like them a little bit better as the years have gone on.
Yeah, and I mean, admittedly, Bucky, like I'm not buying these magazines. So like I'm we do this full time, so I'm pretty familiar with the teams. I kind of understand, but it really helps me, if I'm being totally honest, as a resource for organization. You know, when you're going through and you're covering an entire conference and you're going through 16 teams, it is very easy to lose track, especially in the portal era, who's going where. So when we're doing team previews, I have the 2 or 3 deep right in front of me. That helps. Like there might be some guys I forgot about. There could be some coaching movement, coordinators, for example, that I forgot about. So it helps to have that in front of us. I mean, I like the Athlon magazine, but I'll be honest with you, man. And heck, being at Barnes & Noble, there's some that I didn't even know existed. They're kind of all the same. Offense, defense, special teams, overall analysis, schedule, top 10 recruits, stuff like that. It's kind of all the same at some point.
And Chris has got to be getting to the point where it's not just portal stuff. As you said, you mentioned the word coaches. I mean, coaches are changing so much. Assistant coaches, guys that are whether it's the way college football is now, managers and everything else. There's so much change. It's almost you got to keep up with those guys too.
Yeah, I mean, it's we did our LSU preview yesterday, and there was a specific running back that transferred in from Wisconsin that we talked about him very, very briefly. And little did I know that he actually came out of spring as RB1, a good chance he wins the job. And I'm like, sorry, guys, you added 60 new players. I apologize.
Right.
I'm unfamiliar with one guy and exactly what he was doing. Sorry, I was too busy naming off the 10 new receivers you brought in from the portal. So it's just, it's funny how unforgiving fans are. And I tell you this, guys, we have reached the point, maybe this is all year, but I have noticed as we're going through previews, and it's only going to get worse as I get ready to drop predictions, probably beginning next week. We've reached the point in the preseason where fans take every little thing personally.
Oh, yeah.
Like this is everybody's 0-0, right? There's beauty in the preseason. Nobody's lost a game. Nobody's thrown a pick. Nobody's missed a tackle. Nobody's fumbled the football. Everybody's great. And the reality is, we all know, is that that's not the case. And you get a dose of reality. A lot of teams do, at least, really, really quickly. But it's kind of funny to see. We are certainly at the point in the preseason, even in our content, we're just previewing these teams that you say one little thing or pose one little question or have one little bit of criticism and all hell breaks loose. So it's fun, though. I mean, we always say the beauty's in the banter. So it's only going to continue as we get closer to kickoff.
Yeah, Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered joining us here. Everybody has hope except for Arkansas fans. I don't think they have hope anymore.
Yeah, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, well, I guess putting you on the spot here, we've been playing some buy or sell with Texas on today's show, Chris, and I want to ask you a tough one. I mean, last year we saw one of the craziest coaching carousels maybe the SEC has ever seen. Buy or sell, multiple SEC coaches get fired in the middle of the season. I think we had more than a couple lose their jobs through 2025. Obviously, a lot of new coaches. You feel like none of the year one guys are going to go, but maybe there's a couple of names on hot seats going into 2026. Do you think before this season is done, more than one SEC coach will be shown at the door?
I'm going to sell that multiple get fired. I will buy that multiple changes occur. We'll put it that way. Because not everybody that leaves gets fired, right? Some guys leave for the NFL. Some guys leave for other opportunities, whatever it might be. So, here's the thing. I don't think this is 2024. I think it was 2024 over again. And I don't think we're going to make it through an off season with no coaches being shown the door. We actually talked about this yesterday on our show. And my guys, Dimitri and Cole Thompson, both said they don't think any changes will be made. I think between Jeff Levy and Shane Beamer, one of them at minimum is gone. And I do think it's Shane Beamer at South Carolina right now because I think 6-6 or worse. And he's shown the door. And I think 6-6 is very realistic and on the table for them. So I will sell multiple, though. I don't think there will be multiple firings. I think we kind of got that out of our system. Got that out of our system last year, if you will. But I'll buy that a change is made for sure. But I'll sell multiple, and I'll certainly sell middle of the season too. I don't think it'll happen. It'll happen closer end of season, if not after season, when these changes are made.
Yeah. Now, do you think that you think a lot of this is predicated on the way college football is going now? We've just got through all the Sorsby stuff. I mean, the administrators and people are going to be a little more reluctant to just start firing people. Everybody would like for college football just to settle down for a year, maybe just give us a year where we can, okay, you've had not so great a year, but let's just let things settle for now. Let's not have too much turmoil on our universities. Let's just go ahead and give a guy another chance.
You would think so. It's interesting, though. There's a lot of coaches through the research we've been doing that I notice. I'm like, that coach is in year 6. This coach is in year 5. This coach is in year 6. To a point to where, in today's college football, I mean, you're barely getting to year 3, if you're not winning at a high level. That's why I'm saying with Shane Beamer, I mean, you're going into year 6. There's no, the grace period's gone. The honeymoon's over. It's win or get the heck out. Josh Heupel at Tennessee is in a similar spot. I think if he goes, you could probably throw 7-5, but if he goes 6-6 or worse, I think there's a large contingency of all fans that'll want him gone because he's in year 6, right? I mean, Jeff Levy's in a little bit of a different position. I think with Jeff Levy, you got to show some signs of progress. They want
to like him, don't they?
For sure. I think. Listen, Mississippi State just wants to be average at football. I mean, they'd love to be elite. Who wouldn't? But they're a baseball school. They acknowledge that, right? Like I have been to Starkville twice now, and I have Mississippi State buddies. They do not shy away from the fact that, hey, we know we're mediocre. We're mediocre at football. But baseball's our thing. Baseball's our bread and butter. Baseball's what we live for. But they don't want to be terrible. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's asking too much. Like Mississippi State, you could argue, is one of the easier jobs, and it's the toughest job. But as far as expectations, they're pretty easy to meet. Just make a bowl game.
Yeah.
If you're making a bowl game on a consistent basis at Mississippi State, and I'm not trying to take shots and demean what Mississippi State football is, but like, you're going to be there a while. You just can't win one conference game in 2 seasons. So when I was down there last fall, I was told 7-5 is the number for them. They at minimum have got to make postseason play, and not like they did last year where they went 5-7 and got a kind of what felt like a pity invite to the Duke's Mayo Bowl. So, but yeah, I mean, coaches have never been on the chopping block more. I think it's the reason, Bucky, you see coaches who are in favor of a expanded playoff, because what does an expanded playoff do? Well, it helps them, quote unquote, meet expectations, at least in the short term. And they get to say, hey, we made the playoff. And so therefore it helps them keep their jobs. So,
yeah. It's very interesting that all of a sudden they say, you know what? I want to be selfish about my job too. I want to get to the playoffs. Let's have 50 teams in this. Why not? If I get to the playoffs, how the hell are you going to fire me? I'm getting here, we're getting a couple, maybe get a game at home, maybe getting our fans out on the road a little bit more. It's just crazy. Like places like Auburn, you're only going to get 3 years. You're not getting, if you're just average, that's not going to work there.
Which I wanted to ask you guys, turn the question back on you, Buck and BK. I'm curious, do you think we ever get to a point in college football? And I think the answer is probably no, because, what you learn is that this is more than a college football thing. The world doesn't have sympathy for those who are compensated extremely well for what they do. Right? That's like, you guys remember when the billionaires died in the submarine thing? People were making memes about it on Twitter. Nobody felt bad for them because they were billionaires, because they were rich. It's like, haha, joke's on you. I just wonder, do we get to a place where it's like maybe we step back and we're saying, hey, this has kind of gotten out of control. We need to give coaches more time. Or does it continue to go down the path of, as the money increases, portal, whatever, it's like, hey, there's even less of an excuse than there ever has been. And like, hey, if you're Lane Kiffin and you don't make the playoff and make a run in year 2, like, by year 3, you're on the hot seat. I wonder, do we reach a tipping point where it goes back and we say, hey, like, it does actually take a couple of years to build a program?
I don't know. I don't know if we do, because the quality of what they're doing on the campuses with staffs, it's the NFL now. You have a huge, if a group, at Mississippi State doesn't have a general manager and some of the other things that everybody else has, and you're just being kind of average, you may be able to survive an extra 2 years there. Not going to get much more than that. They're not going to give you another 4-year contract, but they'll give you maybe 2 more years that they understand you don't have this and you don't have that, and you're not going to. But these places that still have a lot of money, Chris, that have 2 general managers, they're hitting it hard in the portal, and you don't get it done. The
answer is no.
And this is coming from Bucky, who was a coach. So I mean, there you go.
No, the answer is no. The answer is like our attention spans are shorter than they've ever been. We want instant result. I mean, you just brought up Josh Heupel, Chris. They made the playoff 2 years ago, and they they were on the road. They were a 9 seed in the playoff, and everyone's like, Heupel sucks. We got to get him out of here.
Well, it's because the way they performed in the playoff too. Sure. I think all they remember about that's the beat down to Ohio State. So yeah, it's certainly. I mean, it's always been a "what have you done for me lately" business. But and to your point, Bucky, I mean, I don't blame people. I think there's a happy medium. I'm still a believer that in year 1, like LSU, for example, I think it's a little ridiculous to expect Lane Kiffin to make a playoff. But then again, because there's so many moving pieces in a year 1, you're changing a culture. That stuff still matters. But at the same time, when people are pumping millions and millions of dollars into your roster, there's just no excuse. And so I think there's a happy medium between having some form of patience, but also understanding the sense of urgency of, hey, we're looking to get our ROI sooner rather than later.
Schools like in the Big 12, like Baylor, Dave Aranda, how's that guy still coaching? I mean, it's stuff like that it's like, nice guy. The reason that guy is making it because he's a nice guy. I'm telling you, if he was a little bit of a jerk.
Baylor, Buck. It's Baylor.
Yeah, but I mean, he's talking about Mississippi State. It's Mississippi State. Eventually, that guy, it's like you said, Chris, this may be the one. This may be the year where if you're just okay, you get maybe to a bowl, or you're 6-6 and just barely. They may just say that's not enough. We're done with that. We can do better.
Yeah, I think it's also too. I think a lot of programs and a lot of fan bases need to have a hard, long look in the mirror, understand who they are and what they are, and what's acceptable and what's not. Right? There's a lot of. I think there's a lot more fan bases than are comfortable admitting that need to realize that 8-4 is a good year for them, and 8-4 is not a year worth firing your head coach. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they should. I agree with you. They should, but as BK say, they don't believe in it. They may say it, but they really
play off or bust. Play off or bust. And no, I'm not talking about Oklahoma when I say that. By the way, just want to throw that out.
No, we want that guy there forever.
Yeah, Chris Phillips, SEC Unfiltered, joining us here. Well, Chris, you brought up Lane Kiffin at LSU. I want to bring up another guy. Look, it's year one, but considering what happened last year and considering how crazy their offseason has been, what about Ole Miss? Like, Texas will obviously play the Rebs. I think Ole Miss may be a top 10 to 15 team in the preseason poll when they come out in August. Like, how much pressure is on Pete Golding? And I think they overachieved. Like, I thought their roster 2 years ago was better than the one they had last year. And obviously last year was the one that made the playoff and won a couple of games and whatever. But how much pressure is on Pete Golding? And do you think Ole Miss is good enough to come close to what they did in 2025?
I mean, I think there's real competitive pressure, right? Anytime you're coming off the season they had, best regular season in school history, were a play away from going to the national championship. They were to get past Miami. I mean, there's going to be pressure, to follow that up. I don't think there's pressure from a standpoint of, hey, Pete, you've got to prove to us and show us you're the guy for the long term, or that, if they were to have a letdown season or kind of slip back, that they would, consider moving off him. And I don't want to speak for all the Ole Miss fans, but I can tell you guys, like, when I was there in December when they played Tulane in the playoff game, I'll never forget, I had one of my good friends who's an Ole Miss fan who owns a business in Oxford tell me, Chris, and granted, this is in the moment, right? He's like, Chris, we would rather go 7-5 and 8-4 every year and have a guy like Pete Golding who loves Ole Miss, who wants to be there, who's not going to toy with us, than have a Lane Kiffin who did what he did, but is who he is. Now, do I fully believe that? That's all fine and dandy until you start going 7-5 and 8-4 every year. Then you're like, man, I'd much rather have the other guy and win games and deal with his nonsense off the field. So, but I say all that to say, like, I think there's pressure, but I think it's a little bit different from the standpoint of, I think Pete's their guy, Pete's their guy. So there's competitive pressure because you always want to win. It's hard to see Ole Miss not taking a slight step back, obviously, because there is so much change, guys. The number that jumped out to me that I thought was crazy that I read earlier this offseason, Ole Miss is replacing, I think, over 3,000 yards in receiving production. I mean, that's significant, right? So who's catching the football? I know they're leaning on a guy y'all know very well in Jonte Cook, who transferred in. Darryl Gill Jr., Deuce Alexander's the guy that I think could take a big step forward. Horatio Fields there as well. I mean, it all comes back to Trinidad Chambliss and Kawan Lacey. I think the bigger question for them is, what does it look like offensively without Lane Kiffin and maybe more importantly, Charlie Weiss Jr.? Defensively, a lot of new coming in from via the portal. You would think with Pete Golding, that should be a strength for them. But I do think, guys, admittedly, I think week 3 against LSU is a massive tone setter for their season. We had this debate yesterday on our show, and I think it's a fun conversation for us all to have. Who would a loss in that game be more detrimental to, Ole Miss or LSU? And I think there could be a short-term answer and a long-term answer. But, I'll sit down here actually probably today and go through records and game-by-game predictions. Off the top of my head, I think Ole Miss probably an 8 or 9 win football team, maybe just on the outside looking into the college football playoff. I just think there's so many moving pieces. There's just so much newness with Ole Miss. It's really hard to see them following up what they did last year and repeating it per se.
Yeah, and especially after that, after week 3, that's going to tell a lot about what's going to happen. They could go into a sheer panic having that game that LSU team at home and not winning that game.
And then you got to, Buck, you got to go to the Swamp the week after. So there's no time to lick wounds and feel sorry for yourself. So
that's the thing. And if you feel sorry for yourself, if you get beat by LSU and Lane Kiffin comes in there and beats you in your own place, and then, as you say, you got to go to the Swamp the following week, that's gonna That's a lot of pressure for that coaching staff.
I mean, here's the thing too, Buck and BK. I'll say this. I mean, let's not overlook week 1. You know, the game against Louisville in Nashville, that's a losable game. Louisville's a good program, good football team. I'm not saying they're world beaters by any means, and I'm not saying I'm picking Louisville to win the game, but I don't think that's one to overlook. You know what I mean? So,
right.
You know, Louisville has slayed giants before and pulled upsets, and I think they could do it. But
we got pretty good players right now.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the schedule, though, like you guys mentioned, I mean, LSU at Florida, at Texas, Georgia, at Oklahoma. You know, if you get to 9-3, you could argue this is a 9-3 team, depending on what the losses are, that deserves a spot in the college football playoff, even as a 3-loss team. Like,
they don't take it with 3 losses, though.
I mean, I'm just saying you could make the argument, is all I'm saying. So, yeah, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole of 9-3 SEC teams not making the playoff. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, Chris, great stuff as always. Really appreciate the time. And thanks for your insight on the SEC. Enjoy the week, and we'll chop it up with you next week.
Yeah, Thank BK, you. Buck, y'all are the best. And BK, I appreciate the kind words about the setup. You're a man of excellent taste, so that means a lot.
There you go.
Hey,
Thank you,
just
Chris.
Trying to be like you, CP. You're my role model. I want to be you when I grow up, all right?
Indeed. Guys, y'all the best. Appreciate y'all.
Later, man. There he goes. Chris Phillips, SEC Unfiltered. Pumping out great content, talking about the SEC. Every team, top to bottom, football, basketball, baseball, but they're really ramping up their content, getting set for the 2026 college football season, which is just 46 days away, Buck.
There we go.
We're 53 days away from Texas opening up its season, and the first Saturday, week 1 Saturday of college football. But week 0, we got a few games. That week 0, the final weekend of August, that is 46 days from today.
Good stuff. Good talking about this stuff. Yeah, I'm with you. Expectations are high at all the programs because, as Chris said, it does have a lot to do when you start having guys that are making, you know, they're not all making $12 million a year, but there's some that are making 3 and 4 and 5. People start thinking, well, he makes that team should be good. Well, there's a lot that goes into. It's not just that guy who's the head coach, but they look at those guys and say, boy, that's a lot of money.
Well, there's no patience. And, you know, on one hand, I get people are like, well, all these big money donors are spending so much on players. Like, aren't they tired of paying money? Do they want to pay for a coach's buyout? But somebody always will. And if you're an athletics director and you've got to make the decision, you've got to worry about being able to field a competitive team, right? There will be.
I was a coach, but I'm a fan now. And if somebody wants to pay that money and they make millions and millions some other way and they want to do that to their school, that's fine. It's not my money. So I'm not gonna put that on the coach because some individual or some corporation is paying the money for it. I'm not gonna make it more pressure on that guy. If somebody's willing to do that and they have the money to do it, you're very fortunate at your university. You have people like that.
Right.
Not everybody has that.
Oh, because if the fan base starts to turn on a coach, then the fan base stops investing into their program, and you can't get the players you need for a coach to turn things around. So it's like you almost have to get rid of them. Now, if no one steps up and is willing to foot the buyout, then you're just kind of stuck. You got to wait a little bit until the buyout gets cheaper. It's kind of where Florida State is right now with Mike Norvell.
Right.
But if you have somebody in a place like Texas and a place like Ohio State and Alabama and Georgia, there's enough people who care and enough people with money who care to where they're not going to be very patient if they don't get the results that they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, Texas A&M 8-4. That's quite the year. They'd love to be that every year, probably.
Well, they made the playoff last year. If Mike Elko goes 8-4 this year, I mean, A&M fired Jimbo. They gave him the biggest buyout of all time. I think that's a horrible example. A&M, they should want to be 8-4 every year because that's what they are historically, but they think they're better than that. So they'll pay a coach $75 million to leave.
Wow.
So they got money. Like, they want to be a big dog. They spend. They will, if Mike Elko goes 8-4 and 7-5 these next 2 seasons,
oh man,
he'll probably be gone
for sure.
So
I think you're right. That 8-4 and then on the 7-5, he will be gone.
And you brought up Baylor. Like, if Baylor had the money that Texas or Texas A&M had, Dave Aranda would not be there anymore.
No, they're done. They're kind of sick of that. They're they're not even treading water anymore, BK. What they're doing is they're having, they've got a good running back this year. Oh, they've got a decent wide receiver. They're not talking about the coaches being any good. They're talking about individual players that may make a first or a second team. They're not talking about their team in general. The team is what the team is. They're going to win 7 games. But you know what? We should be happy with that. No, it's not that simple there.
It's been an up and down ride for Dave Aranda, who's entering year 7 in Waco. They went 5-7 last season. But yeah, like some places they can afford to have the quick trigger. Some places they kind of have to wait it out a little bit longer. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked, but now more so than ever before.
Oh, no doubt. You're right about that.
So we'll take your thoughts. It's a good conversation. It's fascinating. And I mean, Chris is saying he thinks one SEC coach is going to lose his job. I think there's got to be more than one. People care too much. It just means more down here to where only one fan base is going to be like, we have to get rid of our guy. There are going to be a few job changes, I think, just about every year in this league.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Rebels, who haven't been very, very good in the long term, all of a sudden with Lane Kiffin got good for a couple years in a row. They definitely don't want to all of a sudden win 7 games. They will freak out, I got to believe there.
They will.
And then their coach will be under the hot seat the following year. And if he does the same thing and they have no progress and they're the same in another 7-win season, I think that guy will be gone in 2. I don't think he'll be going in 1, but he damn sure he won't make it to the 3rd year.
Yeah, probably right. I think of all the coaches like that could get fired in the SEC this year. And I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying like if their season totally falls off the rails, who could realistically lose their job? I think Kalen DeBoer's in that conversation in Alabama.
Yeah, no matter what they say and no matter what they've paid him.
Right? I think Brent Venables could be in that conversation in Norman.
I think he'd get one more. He'd get another one afterwards.
I don't know, man. If I think Josh Heupel, Chris just told us he may be in that conversation at Tennessee. I think Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State. I think Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri could be there too. So again, I don't think all 5
Who is Missouri anyway? Where are they? What do they do?
They are in Missouri, I believe.
Okay. Do they do anything? I mean, do they do anything? Do they play any sports that are any good?
Are you giving me the Sean Foster at UCLA telling me that UCLA is located in Los Angeles? Are you asking me to
Are they worth anything in any sport, really?
Well, 2 years ago they won 10 games. 3 years ago they won 11 games in the SEC. Last year they took a step back. They went 8-5 after starting the year 5-0. So it's like if Eli Drinkwitz, who's in year 7, they're a team that shouldn't have the expectations that a Texas or a Georgia or an Alabama does.
Absolutely.
But if they go from 2, back-to-back double-digit win seasons to 8 wins last year and maybe 6 wins this year,
ooh, that's going to hurt. You're right.
He could get fired. No?
Yes. Yeah, you're right. It would take him 6. If they got to some bowl game, he'd probably get himself one more. But you're right. If they get to the 6 number and you don't even look at you at a bowl game, they don't even watch you, that's a problem. But then again, hell, Notre Dame can screw up and they'll say we don't want to go to a bowl, so they'll take somebody. He'll save himself.
Yeah, you're right. If Notre Dame gets left out of the playoff again, we know they're just going to take their bowl and go home.
Right.
And we'll have another rule change in favor of them that only favors them.
Maybe 2 coaches, BK. You're right. Maybe 2.
Yeah, I'll admit that if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's ever going to be a year where only one SEC coach loses his job.
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer, I think, as much as we think of him as a really good coach, if he stumbles and they can't run the ball again, or the quarterback doesn't work out, and the kid that was a star at wide receiver going into his 3rd year now doesn't pan out, and they just quit on him. I think the fans will quit on him too. They gave him a bunch of money, which they didn't have. He wasn't going anywhere, and they did it anyway. I think they'll have guys with a lot of money down there. They'll say, you know what, screw this. He's done.
Yeah, you could be right. He could be right. I think it would take a worse year than last year. Again, I don't think they had a bad year last year. They played for the SEC title. They won a playoff game. But if they go like 8-4 or 7-5.
Well, if they go 7-5, they're coming for him.
Yeah, I think you're right. So there you go. We'll take your thoughts. We'll get back into this. The code text line 512-222-9328. I want to continue our bold predictions for Texas football. We got to talk about Tom Herman landing a new gig at some point as well. But before we go any further, how about another round of sponsor shout outs?
You instantly start talking about Tom Herman. My back started to ache a little bit. Folks, Relax the Back embraces a holistic approach for a healthier lifestyle. And I'm sitting in my chair, and BK's talking about Tom Herman. Thank goodness I'm in this chair getting the kind of support I need for my back right now, because talking about him makes my back hurt for sure. Relax the Back has the great massage chairs, zero gravity recliners available for you, adjustable mattress sets, Tempur-Pedic mattresses, and pillows. Then how about that human scale office chairs, desk, all the accessories that you need to make yourself feel good. And don't wait till your back starts hurting. Head on over to the Relax the Back store now and find an office chair that if you're spending hours sitting and we're looking at your computer, you want to be comfortable, you want your shoulders to sit right, you want your lumbar area to feel secure, you can get that done at Relax the Back. Two great locations. One is in the Hill Country Galleria across from Whole Foods. The other in North Austin at the Gateway Shopping Center, right across the street from the Container Store. Live pain-free like the Buck at Relax the Back.
Yeah, you talk about living pain-free. Altstadt Beer will help you
Yeah,
be
man.
pain-free. Come on, man. It's the best beer that there is here in the great state of Texas. Whatever you have going on all summer long, look, your good times are made better when you've got a great beer by your side. Altstadt, brewed locally in Fredericksburg. So every time you buy Altstadt, you're helping to support a local business. They've got a bunch of different brews, too. Something for every beer drinker out there. The lager's my personal favorite. They've got a great German-style Kolsch, a Pils, a Hefeweizen, their summer seasonal Peach Radler, which is super refreshing. It's the lager mixed with juice from real Fredericksburg peaches. Typically not a fruit beer guy, not my jam, but this Radler is really good. And again, very easy to drink. And maybe the best part about Altstadt, none of their beers are brewed with any additives, any unnecessary filler ingredients, any sugars, anything like that you find in some other beer brands. If you're worried about what you're putting into your system, it is beach season after all. You want to be looking good. I don't be adding a bunch of crap to your beer. Drink a beer that tastes good, but also is good. Doesn't have a bunch of crap in it. Altstadt Beer, the best there is. Get you some wherever you buy your beer, grocery stores, liquor stores, bars, or restaurants. It's the official beer of BK. It should be the official beer of you as well. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
And folks, if you're seeking that specialized patient-focused orthopedic care, contact the experts and our friends at Texas Orthopedics. Their physicians offer comprehensive surgical and non-surgical orthopedic care for children and adults. Rehabilitation, spinal care, sports medicine, of course, joint replacement, rheumatology, and even more. Their doctors are dedicated orthopedic surgeons there. And as I said, they would love to rehab you into good health and the great quality of life that you deserve. For more information, please go to txortho.com.
Yes, indeed. Love Texas Orthopedics. And for those of you seeking specialized tickets, go to centextickets.com. Yeah. The best selection of tickets that you can find. Speaking of shopping local and supporting local, Centex Tickets, based right here in Central Texas. They've got everything you need. They've already got Longhorn football tickets available. They already have ACL Music Festival tickets available if you want to gear up for those big events in the fall. But they've got all sorts of sporting events. If you want to catch a Texas Volt softball game at Dell Diamond, they got tickets. If you want to catch a Round Rock Express game at Dell Diamond, they've got your tickets. Comedy shows, concerts, Broadway shows, you name it. You're looking for tickets to any great event coming to town. Centex Tickets is the place to go. And don't forget to use the promo code CENTEX10. You type that in at checkout, you're going to get 10% off of any ticket purchase from our great friends at CENTEXtickets.com.
There you go.
All right, Buck, some news that dropped this morning involving Texas football. Not a big surprise here, I think, but we got an official announcement from the SEC for who will be representing the 16-member institutions at SEC Media Days next week in Tampa. It's 3 players from each team and obviously the head coach from each team. And Texas will be on the 4th and final day of the event next Thursday. It's 4 teams per day over the course of 4 days. The Longhorn attendees have been announced. You care to guess, or you just want them right off the bat?
I think Colin Simmons, the quarterback, and I'm trying to think, would they take a transfer portal guy right off the bat? Biles, would he go, or are they going to wait and have a DB go?
Neither. You're forgetting a very obvious.
Oh, I'm sorry, the left tackle.
There you go. Trevor Gooseby. Yep. That felt like the obvious three.
Yeah.
You've got your returning starter at quarterback who was there last year, even though it was year one for Arch Manning as the starting quarterback at Texas. You've got Trevor Gooseby, the first team All-SEC left tackle, maybe the best offensive player on your team, and then Colin Simmons, maybe the best defensive player in the entire conference.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, every opportunity as a young man is an opportunity for an interview, no matter what. It just is. And, sometimes you think of offensive linemen are like, nah, man, I'd rather be home with my family. I don't want to go to that. I'll see you during the season. I'm pretty good. I don't have to spend time talking about my team. But every opportunity is a meeting, is an interview. So, yeah, most of those guys that are well-spoken enough would probably say, yeah, I want to go. I want to represent the university.
No, for sure. And it's a very cool opportunity and honor for all of these guys, obviously. And I think these three deserve it with the way that they have played in their Longhorn careers, but also with the way that they have represented the University of Texas during their Longhorn careers as well. So, three upperclassmen, three team leaders, three of the best players on the team. This one kind of felt like a no-brainer for me, and I don't think Steve Sarkisian had no disrespect to anybody else. Look, there are plenty of other leaders and guys who have given a lot to the University of Texas, but this feels like the obvious three. So excited to hear what all of those guys, and obviously the head coach, has to say next Thursday. The head coach has been doing plenty of talking this offseason, as we all know. So is he trying to make more headlines? Is he trying to stir the pot? Or at this point in the offseason, is he like, you know what, I'm all about ball. We're talking about the 2026 season, and none of the extracurricular stuff matters.
Yeah, I think he can talk about his team and feel confident that they can back up his talk, that he has the players and the right players in his system over the last 6 years now, that he has a culture that's set no matter if he brings other people into his culture, that he feels confident enough to say the things that he did, during the offseason and feel good enough that they're going to back him up.
Yeah. Do you think we'll get something viral from Steve Sarkisian next week?
Well, hell, I hope so.
You do?
Yeah, I hope he says something that he lets you know that, last year you thought of my quarterback as being this and that, and he needed the experience. Well, he has the experience now, so he's going to be pretty good. I want him to let them know that his quarterback is going to be the best quarterback in the nation and not worry about saying it. Just say it.
That would be viral right there. Like, I was thinking more in terms of taking a shot at another team or a basketball comment. But if he comes out and says,
take a shot at all of them. Take a shot at them in your conference, the Big Ten, playing Ohio State. I've got the best quarterback in the nation. I'll let you know he's the best quarterback there is. I wouldn't care if he said that. I'd be like, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. Look, when you're the head coach at Texas, just about anything you say is a headline. And obviously, we've known with Arch Manning, anything that guy says is a headline, or anything that's said about him is a headline. Yeah, if Steve Sarkisian comes out next week and says, yeah, I've got the best quarterback in college football, then that will definitely be taken by the masses.
Yeah, when you know that, let's just wait and see after last year that everybody else was commenting on your quarterback and you understood that he needed the experience. Okay, well, now he's got the experience. And if you're the guy that says, no, he's the best out there right now, then that'd be great. I'd love that. I'd love to start that up.
Man, I don't know if Arch Manning needs any more of that. Wasn't that kind of a problem last year as there was too much?
But I think he's past those problems of, is that too much pressure for him or not? I think he is ready to just go play ball. I'm not saying that he won't have some ups and downs. I mean, he's a quarterback. They're all going to have a game where they didn't play well. But I don't think mentally he's going to feel that like he did last year. That mental pressure was so mental on him last year, and everybody put it on him. You know?
I agree that he is more well-equipped to handle all of that stuff. And look, it's never going to go away, but I don't know if I want Steve Sarkisian just throwing some gasoline on the constantly brewing fire that is Arch Manning. So I hope he doesn't say that, I guess, is the point I'm trying to make.
You don't want him to say that.
No, I'm sure Sark, if he's asked about Arch Manning, he's going to say he's incredibly confident in him, and he feels like he's got, he gives us a great chance to win, and we love his game and who he is.
Well, somebody will try to word it in a way that he has to make some statement. And
someone will try for sure, but I
just hope he didn't back away from the statement of saying, no, we've got maybe not put it on him, but say, we got a damn good football team here, and our quarterback is one of the better. He may say he's one of the better quarterbacks in the nation without saying he's the best. He may say he's one of the better quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah, that would be less viral because that feels true.
Yes.
It feels like most people would agree with that. Whereas anytime you say anybody's the best anything, then you know how that goes in the sports world.
Well, I think right now, when looking, I think he's the best.
But
that's just from a fan. That's fanboy saying that. So
you got your burnt orange Kool-Aid in that bottle next to you.
Yeah, I mean, why hold back? There's nothing to hold back about this team. They got all the talent. They got a coaching staff that's been together. They've made what they think are upgrades, and we'll see what the upgrade, how that turns out on defense. But I mean, what else is there? I mean, there's no reason to sit back and just say, well, I hope this happens, or I hope this offensive line. No, they'll be better, and they'll be ready to play for a national championship.
Yeah, well, let your play do the talking.
Yeah.
But Sark is clearly confident in his team, and I think he's going to exude that confidence in Tampa next week. And we'll see, again, if he keeps that same tone, because he's talked a lot more this offseason than he has in the past. And I think in part is because he believes that he's got something really special on his roster this year. But does he continue to do that, or is it just more measured?
Yeah, I think it'll like you said, you want it to be measured, but I'm not going to fault him if he steps out of the box a little bit again. I mean, I don't need him to fall off the cliff, but if he steps out of the box and he's at the edge of the cliff, that's okay.
Well, who's next? Who's next? He took a shot at Ole Miss. He obviously took a shot at Texas Tech. So who is it? A&M? Is it OU? Is it somebody else?
I would prefer him to go ahead and take that shot at OU when it comes to what have they done lately to us,
Right. Yeah, it just talks about the scores and the fact that it's been over 1,000 days since OU has scored a touchdown
Dude,
against
if he
Texas.
even just said that, it would be
– oh, yeah.
That's all he would have. He wouldn't have to say anything else but that.
You talk about ingratiating yourself and your fan base right there.
My God.
That would be huge. Okay, so he's taking a shot at an SEC school. He's taking a shot at a Big 12 school. Does he go Big 10? Does he just throw a jab at Michigan? Like, man, those guys suck. They can't beat anybody.
And they definitely can't beat us. Now, he doesn't need to mess with the Big Ten because right now in the Big Ten, it just means more.
Yeah, they have won the last 3 national championships. And every coach is going to get asked that question. And, Greg Sankey's going to get asked that question about, like, hey, what's the deal? Why are you guys not winning titles anymore? Y'all used to win them every year. Now, one of these fanboys will say, now we can't win. One of these SEC fanboys posing as media will say that.
When it comes to Ohio State, BK, it's just for you and I. Just beat them. You don't have to talk about that game. That game will come quick enough. It'll be the second game of the season after you throttle our good friends down south there. You throttle them, and then you don't have to talk about that game. Just beat them. We don't care if you kick the last second field goal to win. That's all we want to know. That's all we want to see.
He's going to get asked about that game, and he's going to get asked what went wrong in the last 2 matchups against Ohio State. So that will be a talking point for Steve Sarkisian. And look, that'll be a talking point for everybody. I mean, Arch Manning, that was an awful game for him. It was his first game. It was a brutal environment going up against the defending champs on the road. Like, welcome to college football, Arch. But he'll get asked about that because that was an ugly showing for everybody.
Either one of those guys just win that game, Arch or the head coach. If the coach calls toss sweep left and Arch fakes the toss sweep and bootlegs it around the right for a touchdown, and it comes out that Sark said, I wanted him to toss. I called toss 29, but he kept the ball and he scored a touchdown. What are you going to say?
Okay, he scored a touchdown.
That's it, right?
Yeah, I don't care. Just get in the end zone.
Just win the game, guys. Just win that game.
Calling the play or what happens, just score.
Hey, if it's a busted play and it scores.
Whatever. Yeah, just win.
Just win that game. That's all that matters to me is to win that game. Because there won't be any excuses if you lose that game.
I know. You bring that up 4 times a week, so I know how you feel about it.
Yes.
That's a big one. We're 60 days away, by the way, from that game, Texas, Ohio State. You've had that one on your calendar for
that is in my mind because I am missing one of my all-time favorite people's induction into a Hall of Fame that weekend because I want to be here for this.
Who, Griff?
Yeah, he's going into the University of Illinois Hall of Fame with Red Grange and some great players.
Wow.
Ray Nitschke.
Friend you're missing that?
Yes.
Nah,
he understands. He understands because I even gave him grief. I'm like, wait a minute, aren't you on the Big Ten Network? Aren't you work? He goes, Buck, they're putting me in the Hall of Fame at the University of Illinois. I've got to take off that weekend. I'm like, well, hey, I'm not in the UT Hall of Fame. I got to work that weekend, bro.
Who's Illinois even playing that week? Do you know?
Oh, gee, I forget who they're playing. It's the 10th. It's that. What is that? The 10th, right?
The 12th, Saturday, September 12th is the date of Texas, Ohio State.
Probably somebody. They probably made it easy. Probably somebody like Wisconsin or something.
Let's see.
Villan's old team.
Oh, they got the Dukies.
Oh, great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Duke is Duke.
That's perfect time to play them.
Perfect time to play that basketball school while it's still football.
Yes.
I like it. Well, mentioned this earlier in passing. Congratulations are in order to former Texas football coach Tom Herman.
Oh, let me sit up in my relaxed back chair a little bit better.
Feels like it's been a while since we've heard about Coach Mensa, hasn't it?
It has been a while. I thought that guy, man, when you told me earlier today, I was thinking, oh, now he's one of those analysts for a team, you know?
Well, I went and looked up Tom Herman's Wikipedia page to see where he's been. And he did not do anything last year. He was not the head coach. He was not an assistant coach, an analyst, a support staffer. It seems like he just took 2025 off.
Golfing and fishing? Nice.
Maybe. And remember, I don't know if you remember, I don't know how much people were paying attention, but he was the head coach at Florida Atlantic in 2023 and most of 2024. He got canned with 2 games left in his second season in Boca at FAU. He was 6-16 for Florida Atlantic. And he took last year off. And, well, it came out yesterday, which is crazy because we're so close to the start of the season. Like, I'm surprised we're still talking about coaching hires at this point. But Tom Herman has accepted a job as an assistant coach at Florida State.
I thought you were going to say at Florida A&M the Rattlers of Florida A&M.
FAMU. I don't know Tom Herman would really fit there.
He'd be okay. But Coach Mensa, the smartest guy in the room, you got to be kidding me.
You think the FAMU players would appreciate getting kissed on the forehead by their head coach?
Head butted.
I don't know if any players really enjoyed that bit. I don't know if that's something I would have liked as a player in any sport. Like, don't kiss me, coach. That's weird.
So he's gotten, that is kind of weird. My wife is weirded out about soccer players and they lay on top of each other after a big win. She thinks that's a little strange. She goes, the pat on the butt has always kind of weirded me out. I said, everybody's been patted on the butt. I said, every once in a while when you go by, I give you a little, she goes, yeah, that's a little strange. She goes, but the men laying on top of men after victories. I said, not, and it's not the dog pile. It's the soccer pile, you know, it's just man versus man. When they do it, it's the weird, it looks kind of weird. When she saw him, like, that is kind of strange.
Did we ever see Tom Herman do that? Did he ever try to lay on any Texas player after a touchdown or after a win?
I don't know. That's a little far. I don't think that's just a soccer thing. I try to tell her it's just a soccer thing.
I guess you get dog piles in college baseball, but that's not just after a regular win. That's you get to Omaha, or in Texas's case, you win the national championship. But I am on your wife's side here because I've always thought, obviously a sidebar now, that the slapping of your teammate's ass is a weird bit.
Were you on that side of that?
Yeah, like I didn't enjoy that. Now it's different if you said you slap your wife or your girlfriend or whatever. Like to me that makes more sense than random grown men slapping random grown men's butt. I've never quite understood that.
Well, it's always during the course of action. You know what I'm saying? That's, on the field, guy goes by and you give him a pat. No, that's just, that whole thing is a part of the back. The back side is part of the back. That counts as like the back. Right. You don't slap, guys hate to be hit. If you're a football player, guys don't like when you hit them in the back of the head, even if they have a helmet on. They don't like that. They don't like that. So they get pissed at that.
People, that's what I don't get about football is guys hit each other in the head all the time. And it's like,
yeah, they hate it. They hate it.
Why doesn't it stop?
I don't know. That must be the sound that rings when you slap a guy, even with a helmet on, with your hand pretty hard. But if you slap him on the butt, it's like, fine, it's no big deal.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't want it to make it sound like I'm homophobic. Like, I think it'd be weird if random guy was slapping random girl. Like, you can't go up to your coworker, male or female, and slap them on the ass in the office. Yet in sports, I don't know. That's it's so ingratiated into the fact it doesn't need to change. I just have always found it like I don't want like a 70-year-old baseball manager slapping my ass when I don't want like I don't want my friend's dad, who's the coach of my youth little league team, slapping my ass as like a 12-year-old kid. That's weird.
Well, dude, that used to be the standard before they moved on to handshake for a home run trot around there. Third base coach used to slap the guy in the ass when he went by. And then they went to handshake, and then they went to all kinds of different things that are going on now. But the man love of the soccer players laying actually on top of a guy after a win is, my wife just found that very odd. And then I didn't think anything of it. I said, it's just sport. It has not, don't be homophobic. It has not, it's just, then I said, that is kind of weird.
Maybe Tom Herman should be coaching soccer then. There are plenty of times when he was here in Austin where I'm like, are we sure football is the right sport for you guy? So,
I mean, it just goes through history of what you do, how everything changes. You know, just like the handshake is, dude, it used to be just a little shake, a little dab here and there. And now it's turned into a production.
You're right. Everyone's got their secret handshakes and whatnot.
But no, the locker room deal, you don't go around petting naked guys coming out of the shower on the butt. You know, you may pop them with a towel every once in a while, but you don't see guys do it. But on the field, it's no big deal. It's just a part of the game.
I know. Again,
you see players do it to the officials.
I know. I've always wondered why that is. I'm not trying to change it. It's no big deal, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't keep me up at night or, that's what I'm analyzing when I'm watching these games. It's just, don't do that to me, please, when you see me on the street, I guess.
No, guys don't like you to take your hand and slap the back of their helmets. They get enough ringing inside their heads.
That's my thought too, because people still do it all the time. And it's like, CTE is a thing. You take enough hits there. Why are you smacking each other's head, or why are you headbutting your own teammates? Aren't you trying to take care of yourself? I don't know. Back to Tom Herman, Florida State. We don't know what his exact role is. It sounds like he's just going to be on the support staff at FSU.
He's just there making comments at the meetings or something.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Like, Mike Norvell is on a very hot seat. I think he would have been fired last year if Florida State had more money. His buyout after this year, or if he gets canned midway through this year, is still hefty. But if things fall off the rails in Tallahassee pretty quick again, then maybe Mike Norvell loses a job. And could Tom Herman be the interim coach? And if he does well, could he be the next full-time head coach?
No, even Florida State knows better than that. There's got to be somebody else on that staff.
Well, Mike Norvell doesn't know better than that, because for me, if I'm like a coach who's on an extremely hot seat, I'm not bringing in Tom Herman to try to save my gig.
Yeah, that's true. You're asking to stay on the hot seat.
That's not the guy that I am asking to keep me around or help keep me around. So good for Tom, I guess. It's crazy, man. Like, these Charlie Strong never figured it out anywhere else. Tom Herman never figured it out anywhere else. There's some coaches who leave Texas and end up having success at other schools, but you think of the football ones who have left here. And Mac had a couple of good years at North Carolina, I guess, while he was there. But I think his situation's obviously different. He accomplished a ton at Texas while Charlie and Tom didn't.
Yeah, for some reason, the head coaches, if they lose their gig at a big place and then they have an opportunity to go somewhere and just be an assistant coach that are making 500 G's a year, pretty good money. Plus you're getting the money that you had before. They just don't do that. It's just such a bad step, or they think that's a bad step because they never think their careers are over with. They just think they can go from one spot, they'll be successful at that spot, and then they'll be right back on top again, when that's just not the way it works out all the time.
And Tom Herman, I don't think he has a choice. I mean, he, after he got let go by Texas, he was an analyst for the Bears for a year, and then he took that Florida Atlantic job. like, I don't think anybody would hire Tom Herman to be their head coach. I should say any D1 team.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
forget Power 4. I'm talking even like G5 or G6. I don't think anybody's hiring Tom Herman right now. So if he wants to be a head coach again, which most of these guys always want to do, then I think he had to take a job like this to try to work his way back up.
Yeah, that's, once you got to the Bears, if you did a good enough job and you were with the Bears, you probably should try to get to stay with them. They're doing okay. And this is before Ben Johnson got there, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This was like 2021 where he did that.
Right.
So
yeah.
They
were still the Bears.
They were still the Bears. And look, I think Neil Brown's a good example. I mean, it's a little bit different again, but Neil Brown was head coach at West Virginia, got fired there, came to Texas to be a support staffer for Steve Sarkisian, and then now he's the head coach at North Texas. Like, just 1 year of doing a job like that at a big school. It's not like Texas had an amazing year last year, but that was enough to kind of get Neil Brown back on his feet. So maybe that's what Tom Herman is looking to do with the Cinnamon Rolls of Florida State.
Yeah, that group, they better come through. They better have 9 or 10 wins this year at Florida State. All they're doing is looking for more money to get rid of their head coach.
Yeah, they
don't need any reasons except for if they can make it to the playoffs. Other than that, they're just looking for money. They're looking for donations.
Florida State, since getting screwed by the College Football Playoff Committee in 2023, and yes, they did, the Jordan Travis injury, we all remember what happened, but since that year where they got snubbed, they are 7-17.
Wow.
Yeah, 2-10. Last year, a bit of an improvement, 5-7. But Florida State, those 2 years back to back, that's not going to fly. That's a proud football program with a lot of tradition.
It's just hard for me to believe we're talking about Florida State in that way.
Happens every these blue bloods take turns. It was Texas for a while. It's been Florida. It's Florida State. It was Miami. It's Nebraska. It's Oklahoma's it happens. It's cyclical. And right now, Florida State is in that really, really bad. I mean, Florida is too. They got a first-year head coach, so they're trying to get out of it. But yeah, it's always weird. It's always kind of eyebrow-raising when you see a place like that with no reason to be bad. Be bad.
Yeah, and that's why the Nebraskas of the world, it's hard. How did they get bad? How did they stay where they're staying? I mean, every year they're hungering for the playoffs. They can barely survive in the Big Ten.
I was going to say, Nebraska's tougher because Florida's got all the talent and Texas has all the talent, and it's hard to get kids to want to come play college football in Lincoln, Nebraska. I think of Indiana.
Right.
That's not a talent-rich state for football players. That's always been a basketball part of this country. And you get the right coach, within 2 years, you win a national championship. So if it can happen there, it could definitely happen at Nebraska.
There's no doubt about it. For people that have been Nebraska followers for forever and ever, if that can happen at Indiana, you still got hope. You are still Nebraska. So
how long are we going to say that?
Probably another 5 or 6 years.
It's like you'll be telling your grandkids once they get older, you'll be trying to convince them that Nebraska was once good at football, and they're like, "Are you sure?"
I'm not saying it makes that change in 1 or 2 years, but 5 or 6 years from now, somebody's going to turn that thing's going to get turned around in Nebraska.
Yeah, we've been saying that for quite some time.
Gosh.
Maybe you're right. We'll see if Matt Rule can do it in year 4 there.
Wow. Or it almost seems like he's been there even longer now.
Everyone thought Scott Frost was like the can't miss hire, and he was going to be the guy to get it. That failed. And then Matt Rule, all right, this guy has had success everywhere in college that he's been. We know the NFL was a disaster for him, but he's a very accomplished college coach who, Temple was good with him. Baylor was good with him. He sure as hell can win at Nebraska, right?
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what I thought.
It hasn't happened yet. So we'll see.
And it's still hard for me to believe that Scott Frost found a way to screw that job up, being the guy there. I mean, really. I mean, it was that bad you just rather go play golf than go to work there? I mean, how bad could that have been?
Yeah, he liked drinking and he liked golfing, I think, more than he liked coaching.
Wow.
Which I do too, so I don't blame him.
Yeah, well, I do too. But if you're paying me the kind of money, I would find those would be secondary type of things for me.
Hey, is the buyout guaranteed?
Yeah.
Then I'll see you on the links.
Yes.
All right, we'll take your thoughts. The code of text line 512-222-9328. We'll get a couple more. We'll save some of these bold predictions for Texas for tomorrow, but we got a couple more for today before the BBK news. But before anything else, how about another round of sponsor shout-outs?
Some of our good friends over at Hat Creek Burger Company since 2008, right here in Austin, Texas, serving burger, fries, and shakes. Love those queso fries, of course. They've got great nuggies there. Hat Creek Burger Company is a place for good food, good folks, and good fun. It's just that simple. Hat Creek is proud to be a place where you can come in hungry and you will leave full, believe me. The big hat, the little hat for those out there. And if you love shakes, they don't get any better than what they make at Hat Creek Burger. Banana pudding shake's delicious. The strawberry shake with, of course, whipped cream and the cherry is delicious. But also for mom and dad at Hat Creek Burger, they have got great happy hour for parents and unbelievable playgrounds for the kids. They got over 30 locations in the state of Texas and still growing. You will love Hat Creek Burger Company because at Hat Creek Burger Company, there's something for everyone.
Yes, indeed. HatCreekBurgers.com for more information and to place an online order as well. Of course, they got the drive-through, so you can get in and out very, very quickly. Shout out to Audiovisual Consultations, man.
Oh, yeah.
Again, we are getting closer to football season. The NFL preseason just a couple of weeks away. We are 46 days away from week 0 of the college football season. Make the call to AV Consultations to upgrade your home TV setup. They're the very best at what they do, and they've been in business here since 1988. Thousands of satisfied customers, including the Buck, including myself, including all the old TSU guys. We love the work that AV Consultations does. You will too. TVs, if you want the 4-screen man cave like I have, if you want the big 85-inch screen like the Buck has, maybe a home theater room, maybe a patio setup. How about this? Look at this job from AV Consultations website. That's one of those frame TVs that looks like art. See how nice that looks just in the middle of 2 doors like that?
Yeah, I've got one of those. Those are beautiful.
Like that is a clean look right there. That's just one example. You can go to avconsultations.com and check out the entire gallery of projects that they've done over the last near 4 decades. But indoors, outdoors, TVs, speakers, they do whole home lighting. They can do surveillance systems, anything you want in your home to make your home a more enjoyable place to live. AV Consultations has your back. Just call them 512-255-8678 or go to avconsultations.com.
My wife changes that thing periodically. BK, we don't even use that TV as a TV ever. We never sit in the living room to use it. It's just artwork. It's so pretty, man. The way it's lit up, they do such a great job with it.
Those things are nice. The house that I stayed at in Galveston over the weekend had one of those frame TVs, and it's just like, damn, I kind of like looking at this more than I like
looking at the TV itself. I know. Hey,
this is nice.
Now the Tom also does. They do that stuff with mirrors in the bathroom and stuff. Like when you go to the hotel and there's the TV in the mirror there.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of freaky.
I'll put a TV, man. You want a TV like right in front of you while you're sitting on the pot?
Yeah, I'm just not a long time bathroom guy. I know guys that spend some time in there. But when that's in the mirror right there, you could be shaving and watching TV at the same. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they can do that for you. AV Consultations, love them. And also love our friends at Gobundance. Of course, yes, Matt King, the CEO of Gobundance. We talked about his ride across the country where he raised hundreds of thousands of dollars and gave it away to folks all over the U.S. of A. Well, Gobundance is really, really cool. We talk about them a lot. And just a brotherhood where high-caliber men come to grow. And we talk about it. Texas football has always been about determination and pride. That's what they're about, and that's what Gobundance is too. A brotherhood of high-achieving men who push each other to be even better. You might like your life, you might like your job, you might like your family, but you might feel like there's something more out there that I haven't quite gotten just yet. Gobundance, that may be the team you are looking for. Again, they are going to push you to the next level. Gobundance.com for more information. That's Gobundance.com for more information and to apply today.
Awesome.
All right. So a couple more of these bold predictions for Texas football. Buy or sell for the Longhorns here in 2026. Oh, actually, we got a very special guest joining us right now.
Paul.
We've been going back and forth over the last couple of days. I forgot he was even joining us today. It's really excited about this conversation. It is a very exciting time to be a Texas basketball fan. Of course, we've spent some time talking about the big commitment and signing of Marcus Spears Jr. And joining us now to talk all about that and Texas basketball and some NBA stuff as well. He is Paul BK, works for ESPN. He is their recruiting director. He's a draft analyst. He's a college basketball analyst. He's a former coach as well. He's been doing it for a very long time at a very high level. Paul, thanks so much for the time today, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's only 100 degrees here this morning out in Las Vegas. No reason to worry.
Hey, you got to love that weather. We love the heat here.
I know you guys do.
Yeah, at least you're in Vegas. If you're going to be dealing with 100 degrees, Paul,
Yeah.
At least you're in a place where there's plenty to do inside. Well, definitely want to get your thoughts on what you've seen in the summer league to this point, but have to start with Marcus Spears Jr. Committing and signing with Texas, obviously reclassifying as well from the class of 2027 to the class of 2026. I trust your basketball brain more than just about anybody in the world. What is Texas getting with Marcus Spears Jr.?
Well, first of all, guys, this was a grand slam for Texas. This didn't come about until about roughly a month or so ago when Marcus's mom thought it was a good idea for him to reclassify. And she actually told Marcus Sr. that, Swagoo. And the story goes that it was about 2 a.m. and she said, you know what, I think our baby should reclassify. And Marcus Sr. said, baby, go back to sleep. and then they talked about it the next day as a family, and it started to begin the process, and it came to fruition for Texas. It's a grand slam because you're talking about the number one player in the SC Next 100 as a rising senior. Now he went into the freshman class. He got re-ranked. We put him at number 4 overall with that new class of 2026. But he's a game changer because he's 6'10". He can rebound and defend. That's what he does best. That's what's going to get him on the court right away. But his offensive skill level has improved dramatically over time. His ability to make little jump shots and jump hooks, as well as pass the ball at a pretty high level. And you know the greatest thing about him? He plays really hard. Like, he goes after it every possession. He tries. His effort is high level. His energy is good. So you got 6'10", good energy, good rebounder, shot blocker, versatile defender, and can score. And he's only 17 years old.
Mm.
You know, Paul, there is, you know, you've been a recruiter. I've been a recruiter. There just has to be something special about Austin, Texas, that if mom's waking up at 2 o'clock and waking her husband up at 2 o'clock and saying, my baby needs to go to Austin, there must be some kind of trust that she has because she has had a daughter that's been on the volleyball team. There's something that they like about Austin, Texas, and they feel very comfortable with having their kids be around.
Well, she didn't say Austin. She said reclassify.
Right.
At that moment, then the next day they talked about schools, and obviously Texas was at the top of the list. Look, you don't have to convince me. My wife is a Longhorn, and my daughter is a Longhorn. So between the both of them, I've shelled out a lot of money, mostly for my daughter, not for my wife, of course. But we've invested in Texas in a lot of ways, so I understand what a special place it is.
Definitely. Paul BK joining us here to talk all things Texas basketball and a little NBA as well. So, Paul, I guess I don't know if fear is the right word, but sometimes fans, when they see a guy reclassify and basically skip a year, they wonder, is he ready? It sounds like, you know, even though Marcus Spears Jr. just turned 17 in April, you feel like he's already at the stage of his development where he can make a pretty decent impact in his first year on the 40 acres.
Yes, and better than decent impact, but that is a good way to say it. You always want to be careful with freshmen because they come in with big reputations, but you got to remember they're 17, 18 years old, and the adjustment from high school to college, there's a lot going on, both on the court, in the weight room, and then day to day with the classes and the socialness of college. But he'll contribute. He's mature. He's very coachable and competitive. Look, those are the two biggest traits that I look for in a recruit outside of his athletic ability, his IQ, and his talent. What are his traits? And Marcus Spears Jr. is very competitive, and he's highly coachable. So you put those two things together with his size, with his measurables, over a 7-foot wingspan. He's going to contribute right away. You got Vocatitis back. You got Punch. This is a great, and you got some other really good players. But this guy here, he's going to be very good this year. And I think he could be impactful in year 2. That's the thing. He's got to be there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Because he can't go into the NBA draft till 2028 because of his age. We've seen this a few times already in college basketball. UCLA has a young man from Serbia who has to be here 2 years. Duke has Bumshe, a 7-foot center, if you will. He's only 17 years old, so he has to be in college basketball for 2 years. You assume he's going to stay at Duke, like Marcus Spears Jr. is going to stay at Texas. So these schools have really benefited from finding high-level talent that is not ready for the draft age-wise, but are NBA first-round lottery, maybe number 1 type prospects.
And Paul, how do you feel about strength-wise with him? I mean, you see all the other intangibles that he has, the length, the ability with the ball, and you talk about his shot, maybe shot blocking. How is he around the rim? I mean,
he's good.
Even at 17, a physical kid?
Yeah, well, his base has to get stronger, right? He has to play, what I like to say is he has to live low. He has to play in his stance, and he has to stay in his stance. The low man wins when you're in the paint. The low man wins anywhere in basketball, just like in football. So he has to learn how to utilize his frame better, and he has to get stronger, especially in the lower half of his body. But he could go play a game for Texas right now and get you 8.6 rebounds today.
Love it. Paul Biancardi of ESPN joining us here on Bucky and BK. I want to ask you, Paul, about Austin Gooseby, the other 5-star McDonald's All-American signee for Texas in this class of 2026. His brother plays left tackle at the University of Texas, a very athletic family. But from what you've scouted and what you've seen from Austin Gooseby, what type of player are the Longhorns getting with him?
A really smooth combination guard. Goolsby can play the 1, can play the 2, shoots it, handles it really well, has nice size. Now, you talk about strength. Now, he needs some strength because he's going to get bumped off the ball. Out here in Summer League, there's 10 fouls per player. Guys are getting the you-know-what beat out of them out here. And the game at that next level is so physical and fast. But for Goolsby, the weight room's going to be huge this offseason, just like with Spears Jr. and the other freshmen. But I love his ability to handle, pass, and shoot. He's just a really good all-around guard. And he's a guy that I think Sean Miller is going to take the basketball and hand it to him to help run the team.
Well, Paul, as you say, the rookie league and the games that are out there where you are right now, boy, there's a game on like every second on ESPN. It's like soccer. It's on in the middle of the day. They just play and play and play. And boy, what great players there in this rookie class in the NBA. Man.
Yeah, this class, we knew this class was special 2 years ago in terms of high school rankings and recruiting because we saw A.J. DeBonser as a sophomore, Darren Peterson, Boozer, Wilson, Acuff. We had a chance to see those guys early, and they are doing it out here. Like Caleb Wilson could have been the number 1 pick in any other draft. Caleb Boozer, Peterson as well. It's stacked with talent. But I will tell you this, guys, when they get to the NBA, as talented as they are, there's a learning curve for these guys. There's terminology that they have to learn all over again. There's basketball IQ in the NBA that's different. Shot clock's faster. 3-point line is longer. Guys shrink the floor faster. So there's going to be a huge adjustment for this class. But this is by far the most talented class that we've had in high school, college, and the draft in my 20, 30 years of being in college basketball.
Wow. ESPN's Paul Biancardi joining us here. A couple more for you here, Paul. Dalen Swain, one of those guys, obviously not a one-and-done player, but a first-round pick in this year's loaded draft class. Hasn't been the best start to Summer League for him, but I know you don't close the book on a guy after 2 Summer League games, but your thoughts on his fit with the Bulls and maybe how his game is going to translate to the NBA?
Well, when you go back and you start to evaluate, I looked at his ranking. He was a top 100 prospect. Now, that's pretty special, guys, because you're 100 of over 100,000 high school seniors. So he had the talent. Obviously, he had to improve his scoring ability, especially from the outside. But what I thought he did really well at Xavier and under Sean Miller was the ability to play to his strengths. and that's driving the ball, rebounding the ball, being in that mid post area. So Dylan Swain is a guy that really fits in the NBA because they love how he can switch on defense. He's got that versatile ability on the defensive end. Offensively, once the jump shot starts to come around, he becomes more of a weapon on the offensive end. You look at the numbers from Xavier to Texas, they've really improved under Sean Miller. And that's a tribute to Sean in terms of player development. You know, when Sean got hired at Texas, I knew it was one of the best hires in college basketball. I've known Sean since he was a player at Pittsburgh, and I coached at Boston College. So I had a chance to coach against Sean Miller. And for 4 years, it was a street fight almost every game in the Big East. So you knew the player development piece was going to come.
You know, Paul, he reminds me so much of the throwbacks of the Big E. He reminds me, I told BK, he reminds me of Lou Carnesecca. His attitude and the way he handles himself press conference wise. He is a pistol when it comes to just telling you like it is and telling the truth. He's special.
And he's a great teacher of the game. I've been to his practices when he was at Xavier, and I'll be down in Texas. And he's a chameleon. Think about it. Arizona, Xavier, Texas, different parts of the country, different programs, different geography backgrounds. I mean, he's an East Coast guy right out of Pittsburgh. His dad was a really, really terrific high school coach. Archie, his brother, is at URI. But when it comes to basketball, like, he is dead on serious. Great teacher of the game. And he doesn't have much slippage. And I think that's what makes the great coaches what they are. There's very little slippage. There's a lot of routine, and they're very consistent. And they have to be excellent teachers, and then they have to be brilliant at the strategy of the game, which Sean is. I mean, he's been spinning a basketball on his finger since he was like 5 years old.
on the late night TV shows too. It's one of my favorite videos ever. Paul, last question for me. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but I could tell you're a big Sean Miller fan, and I know you're paying attention to everything that Texas has been doing. It's been a long time since the Longhorns have been to a Final Four. Obviously, Sean Miller's got that sort of dark cloud hanging over him, the most wins of any active coach who has not yet reached a Final Four. I know that's a lot to predict, but do you think Sean Miller is putting together a Texas roster in his second year in Austin that has the ability to get to Detroit next April?
Yes, I do. I do, because Spears Jr. gives you that extra boost of talent, size, things that make a difference in college basketball. We look at last year's Final Four, Arizona. You look at Michigan, UConn. They were really big and strong teams. Illinois. I mean, they had some NBA size in the front court. And now Texas has that. You know, it's funny, and I know you mentioned that he's got the most wins who hasn't been to a Final Four. That's a major compliment to him. Coaches like myself and hundreds and thousands of others would die to have his record, to have his resume. He'll get there. He's still very young in the game.
I love it. I love it. Well, Paul, both of us have a little personal connection to you. Bucky played football at Boston College back in the day. So you got
Go Eagles.
There you go.
Some Chestnut Hill love. And your daughter and I were at the University of Texas around the same time. We were both communications majors and did some work at the TV station. So selfishly, I have to ask, how's everything with her?
She is doing awesome, guys. She got into the sideline reporting, a little bit of hosting, social media world. She's done that for a few colleges. So her career is doing well. She's still trying to figure out what she wants to do and how she wants to do it. But I'll tell you what, she is fantastic, and couldn't ask for a better child, better daughter. Yeah. And it's all because of her mother who went to Texas.
There you go.
She was always super sweet to me and a supreme talent. So I know she's going to be successful with whatever she does. And Paul, I've been a huge fan of your work for a long time. Really appreciate you joining us today. And hopefully we get the chance to have you on at some point closer to the season.
I'd love to do it. If I come into Texas, I'll give you guys a call.
Please
Thank
do.
you, Paul.
Thanks so much, Paul. Enjoy Vegas.
All right. Thank you.
All right, there he goes. Paul Biancardi of ESPN. He's their recruiting director. He's an NBA draft analyst, a college basketball analyst, and waking up early out in Vegas to join us. We really appreciate his time.
You got probably a rookie game in an hour.
Yeah, summer league game coming up.
Yeah, you got a summer league game about to happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's I was already excited about Texas basketball, but hearing a national guy say, no, this coach is good enough and this team is good enough to.
Yeah, you guys picked up about 5 more people this morning. There you go.
Just from that conversation helped us.
Yeah, that's about 5 more joined.
So what are we at? I can't remember. Where are we at right now?
35 now.
How many?
35.
35.
Yeah.
I think that might be more than we had in the Sweet 16 last.
Yeah, it is.
Season.
It is. It's more than you had. You had 27. So you're at 30. You're at 35 now. I'm still working to get on board. It's going to take a little bit more for me to get on there.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Well, we'll try to get you. Hey, we got to bring on some college basketball person every day to see if we can convince you to jump on the Texas.
It's not going to be the same without the Pope and the herky-jerky lefty.
It'll be better.
Yes.
The people need you to come up with a new crop of nicknames for this new crop of players. So we got a while till the season gets here. You don't have to have it by day one. They come naturally over time, but just get ready. That's your big assignment this year. We need new nicknames for this new roster.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out something for Spears Jr. That's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Because I like to hear that a guy has a nice little jump hook. I love those shots.
Yeah, no, he's got some game. And again, he's still developing, but 6'10", he works his tail. Sometimes a guy that talented, that naturally gifted and athletic, they can kind of
destroys, yeah.
They don't need to work that hard. Like their ability will just be enough to help them beat a lot of guys that they play against. When you're the son of 2 former pro athletes and the brother of an All-American athlete, like his family doesn't let him coast. Like that guy works his tail off, but he's coachable. Like it's what you want in a player of that caliber who knows there's room to get better and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get better.
Yeah, his old man's been putting him in the post and elbowing him in the back for a long time.
And his dad, defensive lineman, first-round pick at LSU, obviously played in the league, was with the Cowboys for a while. Swagoo. So what is he, Swagoo Jr.? Like what's the mini Swagoo?
We got to see after that first game. After he gives me that, he'll have more than 8 points in his first. He'll come out out of the gates pretty good with a really nice first game, I believe.
We'll see. We'll see. I remember Trey Johnson's first game, he went off, and it's like, oh, we got something special. But the difference between Trey Johnson and Marcus Spears Jr. is, well, a couple of them. Trey's a more ball-dominant player, number one. But the bigger difference is the team around him was not nearly as good as the team around Marcus Spears Jr. is. So, like, Texas needed Trey to score a lot. They don't need Marcus Spears to score a lot because they got so many other beasts on this roster.
They need him to be good at whatever it is that he does. He needs to be very, very good at it. And I got a feeling he's going to be. And especially, as Paul said, that second year in this, wow.
The fact that you get him for 2 years is it's really, really cool. All right. On the BBK news here, Buck, we got to get to this story. I mean, I've got 5 or 6 stories that we need to get to, but we've got time for just one today. How about another edition of Guess That State?
All right.
You ready for this?
Yes.
We've got a headline and maybe a little NSFW for the kiddos out there. I'm not going to cuss. We're going to try to keep this as PG.
Kids should be at camp. Should be at camp anyway.
Right. Exactly. Well, we've got an ad blocker preventing me from reading the story. Here we go. Headline: Arsonist cuts off penis, then uses it to start a blaze in neighbor's garage. Here's your headline. The details. His arson plan was a bunch of junk. A man in this state cut off his own Johnson, dumped gasoline on it, then used it to light a blaze inside his neighbor's garage.
Roasting weenie?
Here's a little picture for those of you tuned in video format. The man's name is Christopher Peden. You can't make this up. P-E-D-E-N. And, well, he allegedly copped to giving himself the shaft after first claiming he was stabbed. He then told cops that he harmed himself inside the garage by cutting off his junk with a kitchen knife.
Wow.
And then he poured gasoline on his severed genitals and then set it on fire on the floor of the garage just inside the door, according to court documents cited by the police station.
There's some mental health issues here.
And when he first ran into police, he claimed that he had been slashed in the city's downtown area in whatever state, but he soon copped to being dishonest about the stabbing and told investigators he wanted to be truthful and that, yes, he did do it himself. Investigators collected evidence from the neighbor's garage, including a red plastic gas container, 4 lighters, and a kitchen knife. He was charged with arson, and he is due in court next.
Yeah, see, the people that talk about mental health issues that really don't have mental health issues, they have to save it for a guy like this. They need to quit making up crap when you got a guy like this who truly has mental health issue, right?
You're saying Brendan Sorsby and 36-year-old Christopher Peden are not in the same category.
No, not at all. This guy has some issues, and he is from the great state, the Empire State of New York, probably Niagara Falls.
So you're going New York. Is that your guess?
Yes, my guess is New York, and he's probably from the city of Niagara, New York, Niagara Falls.
You get 3 guesses here. So that's your first one.
Then I always have to go by to the old standby, Florida man. From Broward County, no.
0 for 2, not New York, not Florida. You got 1 guess remaining. I'll give you a hint.
SEC country, Knoxville, Tennessee.
No, it is. Oh, all right. You didn't want the hint, I guess. We're going Big Ten country here.
Oh, no.
We're going to the state of the defending national champion, Indiana Hoosiers.
Oh, my
This
God.
man, Christopher Peden, a.k.a. Crispy Wiener, if you will.
Guys from Gary, Indiana.
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh.
Yeah, I think this guy misunderstood Molotov cocktail. And I wonder a lot of things. First of all, without his junk, how will Christopher Peden? You know?
Wow.
But is it flammable?
Well, I don't know when guys get their junk cut off. Are you like a lizard, like a chameleon? Does it grow back? Like a tail grows back? Does that grow back?
I don't think it does. I think it's kind of one and done.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking all my life that if something happened to that thing there, that it would just grow back. So if somebody cut it off or you cut it off, eventually 6 months from now, it would start to regrow itself, regenerate itself, but it doesn't, huh?
I feel like maybe more people would do that if that was the case, right?
I know more women
like what yours looks like, or you're having some problems with it, or it's not big enough, and you're like, all right, well, let me just cut this off and I'll grow a new one here.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like maybe people would be down for that if it actually came back.
Yeah, okay. Well, obviously the ones with the real issues are you and I. Man.
Oh, we have the issues for
no, that's sad. I didn't know, I didn't know it was flammable.
He was arrested last week. His bond was set at $10,000. He has since posted that bond, but I think I mentioned it earlier. He is due in court next week. He's been charged with arson. I think that's like the only charge here.
Wow.
Maybe I don't know. It doesn't sound like he destroyed any property. Like it didn't sound like the neighbor's garage blew up or anything. But yeah, how flammable? I guess if you pour enough gasoline on anything, right, it can be flammable.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that.
I'm going to take to this being one of the sickest stories that has found you right here. Yes.
You think so?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, I did not find this one. This one found me, like you said.
Wow.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Save the other ones for tomorrow because this one right here, this is going to make me, I literally shake my head. I mean, this is crazy.
I'm just wondering, I thought this was America. Like a guy can't cut off his own schlong and start a fire with it anymore. Like you got to get arrested in this
only
country.
Only if you're going camping and Smokey the Bear says it's okay.
I thought we were the land of the free, huh?
We're the land of the freaks. That's what we are.
Definitely the land of the freaks. What do you think this guy was thinking when he's in jail? Also, he doesn't look like he's in that much pain. I get this mugshot was taken, I'm sure, hours after it happened, but
Where are the tears at? That's what I'm wondering. Where are his tears?
kitchen knife?
Oh,
Did it with the kitchen knife?
butter knife. What is he, Sharon Moore?
Oh man. I guess when it's, when it's off your body, it doesn't hurt when it's on fire. But the removal pro said, all right, this is gross. And I'm starting to squirm. This is painful for me to talk about.
Oh.
So there you go. Indiana man. There's your Guess That State, and there's your BBK news. And there's your Thursday, your Tuesday show.
Yeah, now I got to go have a drink of something.
Yeah, now I got to just hold on to it for dear life.
No kidding.
And I'm not using any knives today. I'm not taking any chances. No. Nasty. All right. Well, thanks to Chris Phillips. Thanks to Paul Biancardi for joining us today. Most importantly, thanks to you people for hanging out with us on a Tuesday. We will be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock for you morning goers out there. And y'all have a great day.
Hook 'em.
And hook 'em.